my microphone works. Hello. Oh god. Yo. At the stage. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going, man. It's going slowly, but going. Trying to learn smart contracts.
Yeah. Thumbs up. Awesome. Very excited. Very excited. We have some original music. This is from Stanley.
How do you like the kitchen?
Kitty! What's up, Kitty? How are you? Oh, special guest. I didn't even know. Amazing. My cat is at home. Unfortunately, otherwise I would have my cat here. Okay, so here's the deal. Everybody can hear me?
I can hear music more than you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was about to say the music is incredibly loud.
Okay, let me turn that.
Or you're too
Too much
Right.
too much vibe.
Too much vibe. It was either that or the. It was either that or the silly.
I didn't think that was possible, but yeah, too much vibe.
Too much vibe. Lower vibe. Okay, we've got 3 out of 4 of us here. Waiting on Stanley. Maybe he's on his way. Here we go. I will quickly remind him how to get to the space. It's a little tricky. Did anybody else find it tricky? It's like a few extra steps.
I can't see everyone's webcam, by the way. Is that
It's so basically what you see now is just the overlay, and I can take it down in just a moment.
okay? That's normal then.
Yeah.
Such a noob when it comes to this.
So
High tech.
I'll do a little countdown, like a little 3, 2, 1. If you're ready, everybody's got their hair done. Okay. Then in that case, the only other thing I was going to remind people of is that there's the internal chat over there on the side in case anybody wants to post any links. It's the right there, exactly. Yes. Hi. And I do also try to keep an eye. So good morning. An eye on the comments that we get to. So yeah, fantastic. All right. So Stanley is word up. I think he's on his way. I think he figured it out. Let me double check. He's almost there. Let me just forward. I think I have to forward it to him again. There we go. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take down the overlay so we can see our lovely faces. 3, 2, 1. Da-da-da. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Creators Guild Volume 19, Version 19, whatever you want to call it. Basically, there's Stanley. Ta-da! Hello, sir.
I feel like I'm in the news, bro.
Same. It's like, what's happening?
It's going.
Thomas of Rubian's VR has announced you've been arrested.
Been arrested. No. Got Stanley in the house.
And now the weather.
He's behind
Back to
bars.
the
Behind bars. Amazing. Hello, everyone. How are you? Yeah, welcome back to Creators Guild. Version 19. Zoe, we've never had you on Creators Guild before. I'm kind of, my mind is a little bit blown about that fact because you're ubiquitous and have been for many years in our spaces. I also, of course, slightly, I would say, listed you as founder of Crypto Girls Club. I know you're doing a lot of other things, and I'd be happy to.
I can talk about all of it. There's a lot and almost too much. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. I see what Creators Guild are actually doing, and it's awesome to have this sort of like space. I think that's what Crypto Girls Club was meant to be as well, like a space where you can interact and sort of like bond over shared interests. So yeah, really big fan, especially as a marketer, to see this growing.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much. It's one of those slow burn things that started in IRL spaces, and then I think one of the things that came to mind is because what's been on our radar here, of course, is the upcoming hackathon, and then the build station that we have, where we spend a lot of time together, and in just having like sort of little conversations here and there with people in our community, which includes all of you, I realized that we all have this in common, that we've all participated, we've all been on winning teams. Feel free to fact check me at any moment. I think I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
You are frozen.
Awesome. Well, but you can hear me. Okay. Yes. So better than being rugged, by the way. So another thing, of course, is that if you're tuning into for the first time, or if you are a regular listener, you might have noticed we've switched over to StreamYard. We get rugged less, but then of course we're on video, so it doesn't quite have that inclusive element that maybe a Spaces does, where anybody can just hop up if we see them down in the audience. Yes. So if you notice, or you want to invite anybody, or if you're down in the audience and you want to come up and let us speak, please let us know, because always happy to have voices from our community, from the Solana ecosystem, from the creative Web3 scene, or anybody who's just happens to be tuning in and wants to see what we're about. So like I said, Creators Guild version 19, Creatives in a Hackathon, Breakout being the name of the next global hackathon. Raise your hand if you've participated in like many hackathons. My gosh, like we've all been in these spaces grinding. Have had like wonderful interactions over the years with everybody. I've learned so much from especially each and every one of you, who are just the way your minds work is just amazing. I'm constantly surprised, impressed, and humbled by the kinds of things that you just come up with. But yeah, please, I never really want to be the one introducing any of our guests because they do that very well themselves. But maybe we'll just go clockwise from the viewers and start with Zoe. Hello.
Awesome. Hi.
Who are you?
Who am I? If you don't know who I am, you're not going to make it by now in Super Team Germany. But just a little recap. That was also a joke, by the way. Just a recap of what I do. So I am actually, it's funny how you said, like, hands up, who's actually participating in hackathons. Well, I'm actually kind of behind the scenes, and I'm curating a lot of hackathons. So I think I'm on my 10th hackathon in terms of organizing. So I'm founder of Crypto Girls Club, but I also work for a production and events company called Web0. We're going to be heading over to Consensus Toronto with Polkadot coming up soon in the next 3 weeks. And yeah, I honestly, in terms of being a super team member and my marketing experience, I entered my first ever hackathon as a marketer, as a brand marketer, and the sort of, I had this inkling of like, this is freaking terrifying, because I don't have the technical capabilities to win a hackathon and enter this Solana hackathon, and we actually won 2 track prizes. So that was sort of like my sort of road to anyone can build, no matter like how creative you are, and sort of like advocating that ever since in Crypto Girls Club and Web0, that like I think if you're goated, then you should have a stage, no matter if you're UX, product, marketing, brand, or anything. Like, I think, especially with the Breakout Hackathon happening now, it's really inclusive and just like setting people up for that diverse buildership. So yeah, that was a little bit of a tangent, but yeah, I've been in Germany for 8 years, still here, and yeah, just continuing building and growing hackathons and focusing on creating developers for the future. So no, Thomas said, fake it till you make it. So that's definitely not what it's like to be a creative in a hackathon, by the way. There's no faking it. It's adding the layer of the skills of the go-to developers.
Excellent advice already. I do really appreciate you flat out saying I was terrified, because I think if you're right here amongst us in particular, but in general with creatives, or say like non-dev people, and you even hear the word hackathon, and you think, what would I even do in that situation? Like, how do I fit into that scheme? But like you swooped in and really made the best of a project that needed that person, particularly at that time. Like, I think this is one of the strengths of creatives, of course, is that creativity involves communication, and communication is necessary to communicate not only the technical stuff but the practical stuff. Why anybody would want to use anything that's ever built in a hackathon ever. So here you are. You've got like a really prime position to be playing an important role. We'll get back to that. Tomukas, man, like I think in the socials I described you as a wunderkind, maybe a wizard. I don't know. Like, I sit next to you and you do insane stuff. I'm wondering, like, go ahead, please introduce yourself however you want to, but yeah, I don't know how to introduce you because you're all over the place doing amazing, crazy stuff, and you don't even really necessarily have a technical background, but you've sort of been, like, I would say maybe taught, maybe self-taught. I don't know. We will find out. But please introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm on a big screen. Hello, guys. I'm Tomukas One. And I would describe myself as participant of all Coliseum hackathons, winner of none. I'm a big fraud. I'm just vibing, looking to learn how actually the Coliseum hackathon works. And I think over these past couple times that I participated, I think I'm starting to get how the whole concept works. It's not about the project. It's about the being a startup. It's a startup-thon, not a hackathon, guys. Don't forget it. So so basically, I've been working, developing for multiple years. I know I have like 8-9 years of game development experience now. 3 years in Web3 or something like that. And you said I have no technical background, but it's in a way correct, in a way not. I do have a bachelor's degree of computer science. However, during the time when I was learning in the university, I didn't learn squat. That was just student years. All the work that I've been putting in was after hours of the university, learning all the stuff that is relevant in today's time. So yep, that's it about my introduction.
Amazing. Okay, so I did not know that you had a bachelor's in computer science, because everything I've seen you kind of like do all manner of creative, amazing things. So, yeah, I think also an extremely important point that you brought up here is even the word hackathon. We can get sort of, I would say, distracted about that. There's not like a proper hacking going on, perhaps, but you're actually kind of like, I would say, hacking Web 2 with Web 3 in terms of what you're creating and what you're bringing into the Solana ecosystem with the build stations and with the Coliseum, quote unquote, hackathons. Stanley, welcome back. We've had Stanley on before as a musician, talking about the state of music and the state of Web3 in terms how it relates to musicians. But here we are now talking about creating for a hackathon, and you've got so many projects under your belt already in the works that sometimes when you're speaking, I have to remember which project you're even talking about. But please describe yourself however you wish, however you see fit, and let us know what you're up to.
I used to be a typical Aquarian, but I've definitely reduced projects. That's what I would say today, because otherwise you head towards burnout. First tip. Hackathon wise, I see it as a sprint with a mission. And I agree also with Zoe and also with Thomas that you have to see it for what it should be. It shouldn't be a pressurized deliver something with something we're not really going to use unless there is a reason for that. So for my side, I come from the music industry, but I've been around tech all my life, worked in different roles in IT companies, more towards project lead. And I find it fun to collaborate with people. So for me, the hackathon is a whiteboard with a mission on, and then there's roles to fill. So that's what I would really like to portray, is that it should be fun, but with a mission.
Fun with a mission. Get me out of the spotlight. Fun with the mission. I would say, okay, in terms of fun, like there's this sort of I would say maybe like a slow burn in terms of the way people, and we've already, like the hackathon has already started, right? So there's submissions have profiles have been created. People are already engaged in this. I think maybe one of the initial questions I had is that in the way that somebody might approach it, and knowing what you know in terms of timeline, in terms of joining a team, if somebody isn't already on a team, or in terms of like knowing that there's going to be a deadline coming up, yeah, you have any initial advice for anybody who is not currently engaged with a team but wants to join a team, especially Zoe, of course, somebody you're organizing these larger events, and these you probably see it from many different angles, besides just, of course, being a participant at this point. But yeah, any advice for anybody who is a creative? And by the way, within Creators Guild, we include content creators, writers. It's a broad term, and even before we had Broad Guild, which we do now have Broad Guild, we had to be a bit broad because you're sort of like either a creative or a dev within our guild's definition. But yeah, any initial advice for anyone who is looking to join a team or get involved or doesn't know where to start? Anything that came to mind? Any revelations you had in your past?
Oh, you want to go, or?
Yeah, I'll just say, just go
Jump
solo,
in.
bro. just go solo. Fuck the team.
Classic.
You don't need the team because you don't even know how to work with the team if you're just starting out. Just make whatever you want. It's not gonna win shit, but you're gonna have a good time. And especially if you're just doing whatever you like without nobody telling you what to do, or like having the team drama or anything, you're gonna do what you want, and eventually, maybe in the end of the hackathon, or maybe sometime, you're gonna find out that some things you want to do, you just cannot do because you're lacking, or maybe you're bored, or maybe like it's not just your thing. Then is when the team comes, because you know exactly what kind of person you need, what you can do, what you're not even bothered to do, and you build your way around that. And I think don't start by joining a team. I think it's best to go like solo, build it, like get a team naturally for like maybe 2-3 people or something like that. And then next time you can join whatever team, and you'll know exactly how it works. You'll be connected. Just go solo. Just go solo and don't expect.
Yeah, but Thomas, I agree with that. As someone who, you're a bit of an all-rounder, and I agree that solo entrepreneurship is sort of the way forward, and I love that concept. You shouldn't have to have a founder or a team. But for someone who, for example, if you're a copywriter or if you're a marketer, then and you have an idea that requires back-end developer, then you definitely need to team up. And it shouldn't be this like, oh, you don't have to answer to anyone. Like the way that I worked with the previous team that won a couple of eco prizes was that we all had these individual skill sets, and we worked out what we can do equally and merged together and just formed this like super team. Okay, that was a bit of a, yeah, you know what I mean? Like you can't do everything. And you shouldn't, I agree, you can outsource, you can use AI, there's so much available right now, but I think the whole fun of it is meeting someone that shares that idea and that passion, and doing it alone is totally fine as well. But like honestly, for someone that doesn't know how to code, I could make a pretty pitch deck and there'll be no substance behind it. So I think in order to go to that next level, in order to progress and be like, I want to take this seriously, you do need to be thinking about your team. So maybe it's different for creatives that don't have that technical aspect. You seem like an all-rounder with your computer science degree. I have a history degree, so I can't whip out the Henry VIII quotes. But but yeah, in terms of advice, like we obviously get really, really immersed into like what the hackathon is doing. So at the beginning, there's usually team building, team formation sessions. I would say attend those, because that's where you really get talking and people open up, but also just like networking and asking around and just like getting to know the people that are there. So the build station is actually pretty good for that. That's how I did it last time.
I think, yeah, want to answer what Zoe said and Thomas both said. I agree on both terminologies. Again, this is I'm going to be sitting on the fence today. But I would say that one of the most important things, what doesn't come out very quickly, is you're right, meeting people, discussing. I've met some great people, and on my team there is actually 2 members, brand new. So actually 4 now. So I feel that it's everybody always likes to come in and actually just say 1 or 2 things what they do. But I've always been a little bit of a hustler, so I'm always trying to figure out, do they have a secret secondary skill? That one could be actually the one what really wants me, the skill what I need, or makes me have a vision of where they can fit automatically in a team. So I always say honesty and availability. Those are the 2 things I go for.
Honesty and availability. I think it was so it was super interesting what Tomokas said about going solo, which is it's a bold thing to do. I think it gives you probably like that sink or swim experience where maybe you think you know what needs to be done, but you learn very quickly exactly by the end of it exactly what needs to be done. So that's like I mean, maybe even a good way to start with your very first hackathon ever, because you're gonna you will be humbled unless you're some kind of crazy genius. You can just do everything yourself. But super just on that note, Tomokas, are you usually solo? I'm just curious. I actually
Yes, but like over this time, I kind of was able to acquire in a way a team. Like we're kind of a team of 4, but nobody is working all the time. I maybe write one guy and he's like writing me back in a week saying, "Oh, sorry, I was busy," so I can never know what these guys are up to. But they're just too smart for me to just ignore and not do anything with them. They do all the heavy lifting. So yeah, but that's basically kind of how I met my teammate who is building the smart contracts. I knew I wanted to make some Web3 game, but I didn't know at all how to make a smart contract. So I just went to like some Discord server and started like asking like, "Hey, how do I do this? Hey, how do I do this?" And that guy who just initially was like answering my questions, he was like, "Are you doing this for a Colosseum?" I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "This sounds interesting. Maybe I can do the smart contracts for you." And then it just kind of like then turned out to be a team, because I thought I knew that, hey, I can do the game, you do the smart contract, and then it just kind of just worked out. But probably like the thing is, if I didn't find that guy, I maybe would have just dropped the idea and that's it and moved on, But I'm just saying right now, like about like this thing of going solo. I mean, right now, like guys, 23rd of April, it's already a week past this Colosseum. If you want to join the team, now you need to a week or 2 to maybe find a team. Then you're gonna join the team. There's gonna be like some random people that are just like not in your communication style. You'll be just kind of going like Tinder, like Team Tinder, just moving around looking for the team, and you're eventually not gonna do anything. I think it's great to find the team before the Colosseum, to know that the Colosseum is coming up and we have an idea and let's do it. But like it's in the middle of Colosseum, like finding a team. Come on, let's be realistic here.
I have to disagree with you again. I found it right a week before, so it can
be done. It can be done. Like in Tinder, you can just go on one date and find your soulmate for a lifetime.
This is not Team Tinder right now. Like Team Tinder is not. Maybe someone should build that for the Colosseum. Like, I would definitely want to see that.
Maybe it's Team Colosseum. Yeah, Team C.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do like this. I like this juxtaposition. We've got Thomas with the one thing, and then Zoe. I really appreciate even bringing in something like luck or happenstance in terms of finding your team versus. And Zoe, you were saying like the last time we actually talked in real life, which was about less than a week ago, you were saying you swept in within the last week of that project.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like what we've been saying, like you do not. I mean, the purpose of the hackathon is it's all about finding this unicorn, right? They're like, oh, we have to find one that makes billions. But also, if you just have an idea and you just want to have fun and you want to test your skills and you want to test the team, like these hackathons happen every year. Every year you're going to get stronger. You're going to know what you want, and it's just a great opportunity. No matter how long the funnel you are, you don't have to think of this $1 billion idea. And we thought of like simple tooling very late on in the hackathon, but it was enough time to quickly build and enough time to create a deck and sort of go for it. And I met the team and we discussed it, and then it sort of clicked. So I think I had to spend a significant amount of time in person meeting people during the hackathon to actually realize, okay, these are the people I want to work with, because it wasn't just like so quick. And that's why sometimes when you do these week-long hackathons versus a month-long hackathons, you definitely see different results. So yeah, it's hard.
It is hard to know when to engage. Stanley, I saw you nodding your head quite a bit. Any takes on when to enter, how to enter?
I think Thomas and again Zoe are both correct, because the thing is, you have to make the move, right? You have the option to communicate with other people. I don't like the idea of just taking people into the team without any real necessity what they are bringing. So, but I love to meet devs. Sometimes that one dev can have that really bizarre skill set which you haven't heard about for a long time, and it could be just that that cherry on top of the cake what could make things happen. And I like the idea of, say, what Zoe said, coming in a little bit late on the project, because you only have fresh eyes and you can then straight away do what you do and bring the goodness out of their project. But I've also seen Thomas hacking away like daily and having those minor wins what he's not really telling many people about, but then when he actually presents on the final day, I'm always blown away. So respect to both of you.
So what we're really saying, there's no secret sauce. You've just got to like go out there and try it all. Like, and luckily these hackathons happen so often that you can actually do that. Whether it's finding the team at the end, whether it's coming in at the very beginning, whether it's what should I do. I think like every year is a fresh start. So
yeah, the one thing what I don't know if anybody's really been using is that in the Coliseum platform on the dashboard, you actually can do shout outs for team members. So in the first hackathon, was it the first one? Yes, it was the first one I did with Unify Giving. I brought through, I did a shout out for a UX UI designer specifically. And a certain gentleman named Prashant, respect to him, replied rapidly back to me. We had a call. He was based in India, and suddenly realized he was a member of Super Team India. So I never had that connection directly with another super team, let's say OG. And then I asked him straight out, like, hey, do you actually have a full stack dev who you totally respect and have a feeling that this guy is the right one to bring through, who can do a bit of jack of all trades? And then he connected me to Tiru, and Tiru's won 14 different hackathons, sadly for a mostly Ethereum project. But yeah, that's how I found them. So that's one little tip. You should try out the Coliseum platform.
Nice. Yeah, actually, just poking around the Coliseum platform, I think Tomokos, I thought it was interesting that you mentioned Discord, and like that is sort of like a semi-public social sort of place where you could find people that you might want to work with. And then I'm just wondering, like in the age where Web3 can be a bit scammy. Seems like Coliseum at least maybe has some sort of level of vetting to it, and you might be able to actually connect with some. Obviously, worked out well for Stanley, connecting to some devs and some people who are looking for a team, have the skills. Maybe they're on the other side of the world. I think a lot of projects are using. Stanley, you said you connected to how many people from Super Team India for your last project? Two. Amazing.
Well, they actually are still with us, but they are working directly on the Unify Giving India version, which is not blockchain so much at this moment, and it's a bit of a separate entity. But they're still with us. I'm really chuffed with Coliseum. It's been a good idea, but I wouldn't expect you to suddenly get like 100 like applications. You're going to get a few, and I do understand what you said about Discord. Discord is an amazing area to look, but there is a lot of, as you said, people who will waste your time there. That's what I would be honest, or asking for free salt.
Yeah, interesting. Yes. I guess I don't spend much time on Discord. Tomokos, you raised your hand there.
Yeah, I think actually it's quite the contrary. On Discord, if you go like to some big servers, like the biggest ones, sure, there's gonna be like a lot of scammers, a lot of ill-willing people. However, I'm talking about like, especially as a developer, right? I go to like Magic Block or like whatever niche small community with like a 1,000, 2,000 people, right? So somewhere where it's just like really hard for scammers to even know that exists. Like it takes a lot of research for a scammer to find that server and go there because it's low activity, not a lot of people chatting to find scam people. So I think maybe it's going to be even bigger chance to get scammed going on Coliseum because the scammers know, oh, Coliseum, lots of devs that we can scam, right? They can go to straight to the source. And with Discord, you maybe find some niche place. And if you come like to that server knowing I need this thing, and then another person who is in that server, he's probably either knows or has heard about it or is developing on that thing. So don't discard this Discord so quickly.
Fair enough. I like the niche aspect, and I think for the sake of context, anybody that's watching that doesn't know what Magic Block is, it's Magic Block or Magic Blocks. It's one of the sponsors of the speedrun Web3 Solana Gaming hackathon that we had last July. Actually.
And right now of the consumer track. Right now they're the sponsors of consumer track. So they are kind of trying a bit of a different approach. Of course, as gamers, we are angry at them. So Magic Block. Fix up your game, guys. Fix up your games. Come back to games.
We're gonna use it.
Yeah. So I think it's a good opportunity to use Magic Block in your project, because as you know how the hackathons are going. If you're using some tool or whatever they have that the sponsors are sponsoring the track, you're very likely gonna be at least very high up in the rankings.
Yeah, speaking of anything that caught your eye, I think I'm frozen again. Anything that caught your eye in terms of tracks or sponsored, like hot new stuff, or anybody who's maybe pivoted a bit? Is there anything that has caught your attention without, I don't want to say without giving anything away in terms of what you might be doing, but any cool new kids on the block?
I would say yes, but I'm not going to say what. But I will go for the Magic Blocks. That's definitely one. And to give up big props to Dialect as well. So to the Bjorn Meister and Blinks.
Absolutely. Blinks, we've gotten a sort of like I'm frozen in a very flattering thing. We've gotten some special looks at Blinks and what's been cooking there. Super impressed at what we've been able to see with Blinks. And I think that I don't want to like spoiler anything, but I think those tools are going to be available. If they aren't already publicly available, that they will be available in the near future. And that's like really pretty revolutionary in terms of the way people interact and people are able to get from A to Z within a very short amount of time. So that's super cool. I think during the last Creators Guild, I keep freezing. Sorry. I think it was the first time in Creators Guild we've mentioned vibe coding, and that actually I think one thing that Tomukas and one thing that Zoe actually said. I'm not sure that this is specifically the first Global Coliseum Hackathon where vibe coding might play a significant role, or like it kind of in a way opens the door, I think, especially for creatives who have an idea and are able to dive into a technology that will be able to get them over that hump that was previously impossible. I guess my question is, vibe coding, like, is this a whole new dimension to the way creatives are going to be engaging and experiencing with hackathons in terms of just getting that initial visibility of an idea and making it look kind of legit? Thoughts?
I could maybe start about vibe coding. I think it's already. I mean, like in my coding, I'm like 80% of all the code I write is just AI generated. I mean that's it. It's no longer. If you're writing code like purely manually, you're just like, I don't know, you're an old head. It's never gonna make it. So I think it's quite of a different. I really like how it's kind of a different approach to how AI is being taken in the coders world, right? For example, in the art world, they're like, oh, AI is gonna take our jobs. Let's destroy it. Let's fight against it, right? And the coders like, oh, hell yeah, let's work. Let's go. Because still, I think like for the artists especially. Well, I think that's maybe a bit of a tangent. Maybe that's not for today. But yeah, the vibe coding part. I have tried out the dev.fun, the thing where you just like you don't even see the code, right? You just go in, you just write, and you just through the prompts you just build something, right? And I've seen some examples of people actually building something of substance, right, in the span of a couple hours. However, I still at the current point, it still doesn't look to me like something you can go and make a project with. If you're just going purely by vibe coding, by just not even seeing the code, just letting the prompts go at it, because first of all, like you need a lot of commitment, because it after a couple of prompts it starts getting expensive, and when there's more context in your project, AI starts getting confused. Like keeps confusing scripts, keeps on misinterpreting based on how much context you have, right? How big the project is, and that can turn into like a really anxious experience. Like you're just going, you're not even developing anything. You're just angry at AI. You're like, no, you're forgetting this. Try this. No, it's not this. Please come back and read this. Read the documentation, whatever. And you're just basically just like having a bad worker that you just cannot communicate with. So I think it's now really good for being out loud in social media, saying, hey, look, I'm not a coder, but look at what I was able to do in 3 hours, right? By just spending some soul and just being able to do this thing, right? But for like going to Coliseum, if you're going for a prize, if you're going for a win, I don't think it's still viable yet. Better off still finding some teammate who can just use AI assisted code to work faster, but going just fully on AI, trying to become a dev like over the Coliseum, it's still not there yet. I think we're probably heading there, but still not there yet.
The funny thing, you said that sort of the Coliseum is more like an entrepreneurship venture-thon. So vibe coding could technically work in that sense where you have a pitch deck and you have an MVP. So it is sort of giving more powers to creators, because this is what we've been doing. We haven't been like focusing on the code, we're focusing on the product. And I think it's definitely something that's quite interesting as well, because maybe it's our time to shine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's definitely gonna be the time to shine to those who don't code. And if you still haven't tried it, it's definitely like you can even like I already like did it for like the smart contracts guy, right? My backend guy. I just went in there, made a little prompt, and and I just said like, hey, I want this game to do whatever, right? And it just gave me some very shitty version, like in just one prompt. In 2 minutes, I was able to visually show him what I have in mind, right? So like for this, like especially like if you're an artist, have a team who you want to make a game, you can already start with this, and this could be like a great start even for like finding a team. You could just make a one prompt, have a little something broken working, and you can say, hey, this is exactly what I want, but better and not broken, right? So but that's what I'm saying. When you start prompting more, you start getting anxious with every prompt, because you start seeing how every prompt costs you money, and when you prompt and it gives you something wrong, and you're like, am I prompting wrong? Am I doing something bad? Yeah.
Do you think, Thomas, you said something really interesting about, as in, you can conjure up something and then you can find a team easily. Do you think we're doing this whole hackathon backwards? Like, we're not coming up with the mission or the vision, which is usually what marketers do. We're coming up with, I have this product, now I need to market it. Like, how about if we turned it back and said, I have this overall vision of what I want to produce. Why does it need to have the code, and why does it need to have this quick mock-up in order to attract teams? It's quite interesting.
I think you're on the right track, but that's also what I'm thinking, because it's not a hackathon, right? We all agree it's a startup-thon. It's like for a month, try to get yourself a prize. It's not about like building a project. How are you going to win this prize? The best approaches are like to go like to these events. You need to learn talk to the judges, right? You need to learn who's judging. You talk to them. You get under their wing and everything. You go to like these events. You know that if you go to Island DAO in degrees, because Dean's List people are the judges, you may have better chances, right? And then basically you don't even need a working product. Like just having, if you're going with this approach of like, going fully on like vision, then I think you can just vibe code one prompt, have something broken for the demo just to show it something, and that's going to be good enough. If you are going in this approach of like faking it till you make it, right? Like, or just like not fake it till you make it, but like making the network be your project, you know?
I don't think there's anything wrong with using your network, and I've noticed
not
this
wrong,
actually in layer one communities as well. It is literally, it's a bit of nepotism, you know, but that's how people get to trust you, and like, there's a lot of scammers, right?
That's
You
business,
need
bro.
trust. You need trust.
That's
Yeah,
business, bro.
exactly. Yeah.
And it's a startup one. It's all about the startups, all about the business and raising money. So how are you going after that Coliseum? How are you going to win and then go on getting funded if you have nobody? Because the Coliseum team, some are getting funded, getting on accelerator, right? So how are you going to get on that accelerator if people don't know you, right? If you're not connected with them. So it's like all business. It's not about the product.
Sorry, not to Thomas ran up. I was just going to say to Thomas and to Zoe, it's exactly what happened with me with Unify Giving. So I got introduced to the people, and they were a pure Web 2 product. That's what they were building. But there was a little part of a conversation we talked about coins, tokenization, trust, transparency, speed of delivery, and these type of words made me like, go, okay, the company is very young. Maybe I can actually take on the product and actually build it into a Web3 product, because I see it long-term wise a better solution overall. Plus we have the fun of using great APIs, new products where we can test them out for a real reason. And that's what we've been doing with dynamic maps. We never thought about using maps before, but we also then saw a marketplace and we were like putting these pieces together. So we already had them in mind the last, say, 1 year. And I like the idea of having that knowledge and building the team around those concepts and then to deliver. And that's what, for me, is always the fun part of the hackathon is having the unity from the start of having a knowledge of what you want to use, why you want to use it, and plan that it's actually a long-term solution, not just for the hackathon.
Yeah, I feel like between Stanley and Tomukas, you both have these sort of ever-growing, evolving projects that we've seen sort of take on new elements as the hackathons come and go. And essentially, yeah, I mean, this has been an interesting evolution to observe. But yeah, I guess if there's anybody that is considering not reviving, but I would say revamping perhaps, or continuing a project that they've already started on, already have maybe even already submitted as and actually like that's actually a great idea. I mean, why feel the need to reinvent the wheel every time one of these things comes along, especially when you have a strong idea that you've already been building on for months, if not years. Anybody who's revisiting or revamping a project that they've already been working on with past hackathons, do you have any specific advice for any creatives like that in terms of learnings, approaches, sort of maybe that's a bit niche, but I think there's also
I would say the most important thing, you only have 4 weeks potentially, right? That's at least what it's bracketed around the hackathon, although there is leaks beforehand about when it starts. So sometimes you can get a few more extra days in at the start. And the encouragement is actually to carry on building after the deadline, after you've actually given in your project to that specific date. Because the GPs have potentially, from what I hear, a 2 to 3 week period after the deadline to actually give their point of view through. So it's not only the 4 weeks, but maybe that a little bit extra few days at the start could actually get you in the groove and then be ready to deliver either solo or with team or finding the members. But the story is as I said, we have a little bit of extra time. So you do need to hustle a little bit.
Yeah, in terms of Tomakos, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I just it raised the question of like feedback. So when we pitch our idea, we actually don't receive any feedback. It's just like you either win, which gives you validation that it's a good idea, or you hear nothing, and and then that's it. And do you work on that idea after hearing no feedback? And maybe this is something that we could do with Super Team, is sort of like regular feedback rounds or roasting nights where people actually realize what they can do to iterate on their ideas. So it's not just like, I truly believe if you have a great idea and you believe it, but at the same time, like getting like 20 people to check, like honestly, and even in Web 2 to be like, what is this? Maybe that's the answer.
Can be heartbreaking, that's for sure, And
well, truth hurts.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's true. But you don't hear what hurts. That's the problem. If you don't get that feedback, that's heartbreaking. So I can only imagine. But I know the first project we put through, so before Unify Giving, Currentscape, that was I made a mothership in my head. Now, we're not going to build a mothership in 4 weeks. So I had to split it up into 3 pieces in the end. And one has gone off on now its own journey. And I will have more news about that in the future. But it's a crazy time in a hackathon. And I don't know what is the right thing to tell people. But that's why I say be honest, be fun, and really be open about how much availability they have. Because it'd be not the best thing to do, bring a dev in and say, yeah, I want to be involved. And then they tell you they only have 5 hours per week. And you hardly ever see them. It doesn't make no sense. You need a bit of confidence with your teammates.
I think one of the things that just came to mind is when Leo from Metaplex came and gave a 3-day workshop recently. He was basically saying when you're in your project, you should just be immersed in the project, thinking about it all the time, thinking about it in the shower, just this definitely comes to mind when you mention people's availability and the reality of how much time it's actually going to take to make something presentable. Yeah. Tomogas, sir. Yes.
Yeah, so I would like to add to this of like continuing like the project with every Coliseum. My approach is basically like, if I always just remake a new project, I needed to create new socials, new whatever, new blah blah blah. I didn't need a team to manage all the thing, right? So I just said, yeah, sure, Rubians is the brand, and each Coliseum I'm still like coming up with like a new game or new whatever, and I'm just putting it under the umbrella of Rubians, so that whatever I'm doing with each Coliseum is just kind of like added value, added thing to the brand. I don't see any reason like to keep on changing the name, and it also gives me like a reason to like, whenever I need to come up with something new, I'm like, okay, so who Rubians are, where do they live, what do they like, what do they do, right? And it kind of gives me like this constraint of when I create a game, I then know like the guidelines of how artistically it would look like, how it would spin up into some game to make sense in this Rubian world, and that just kind of makes the creative process very seamless and very easy. And also, I treat Coliseums not as just kind of like, okay, I've been drinking margaritas and sitting under the sun for half a year, and I'm coming to build on the Coliseum. But it's more like, the Coliseum is like the time to learn new things, to really grind, to really like get to talk with people, get to talk with the judges, with the sponsors, blah blah blah, to learn some new things that has been up in the Solana space, like the core assets by Metaplex, right? The ephemeral rollups by Magic Block, these things that I'm kind of learning right now, which I'll be using for another half year on a slower pace to make sure that everything works and I understand. And then the next Coliseum is going to be another like this kind of a period of like learning. So like small university degree, it's kind of like going for a month on like some sleepless nights, some intense coding. And just that's kind of my approach to the Coliseums. And if some prize comes up, I'll take it.
Zoe, I'm just curious, based on what Tomokas just said, especially in terms of like more of like a marketing sort of thing, not having to reinvent all your socials every time you have to show yourself to the world. Is this the way?
That is a very good question. I think if you're building sort of a long-term brand that you truly believe in, then obviously it doesn't have to have that extra visibility every time. But I think for this hackathon, it's like all about like creating something that's like fresh and new, a new technology that's is bringing out. It seems to be more favorable. So it has to be, although you have the same name and the same socials, it has to have that sort of unique perspective that will get you across the finishing line. So yeah, I'm in two ways. Like, it is annoying having, if you have this business idea and you want to keep entering these hackathons, it is annoying. You don't want to start from zero every time. But then if you have a fresh idea and it gets momentum, then yeah, you might get more followers than what you've been building. So I don't know. It's a personal thing.
And I believe Super Team sponsored a track in the Web Zero hackathon. That were you already involved with them at that point? Not Super Team, with Web Zero.
When I was doing the Super Team hackathon, what do you mean?
Yeah, I think the Super Team sponsored a hackathon. Maybe during. Actually, no. I'm trying to remember if it was. I wasn't in town. This is the problem. So my memory is a little. Yeah, I was away during.
Web3 Summit.
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
so we're actually doing it again in July. So we hosted Web3 Summit. It was at the iconic historic Funk House. It was a 72-hour hackathon. You could actually sleep there, swim in the spring. It was beautiful. And we had sort of our signature Web Zero vibes there. But it was multi-chain. Solana submitted a track. We had Bjorn mentoring on the ground. And I think there was a fairly good result out of it. And yeah, I think we're definitely going to do it again. So we're going to bring on Solana as well. And I really like the idea of like this multi-chain approach. Like, and we noticed that like with builders, if you have mentorships on the ground, developers are more likely to build on your chain than if you don't have any support, and you're just posting a bounty, for example. So I think this real in-person connection, and like you said, getting to know the chain, getting to know who you are, being personable, dev roles, it definitely helps when choosing who to build with, because everyone has that decision, right? Which chain do I build on? And I think Solana makes it easier. So I need to check the date of Web3 Summit actually, but you're all invited, and it's going to be epic. Yeah, it's all free tickets, and we're all coming soon. Yeah.
Is that also going to be at a beta house again?
No, it's a Funk House. So every year it's a Funk House.
House.
So there was a 5-year break during COVID, and it's sort of this no-shill conference run by the Web3 Foundation. So there's no advertisements, there's no your talks have to be what you want to talk about and stuff like that. And I find that really organic and natural, and the hackathon was amazing. It was the peak of summer, and it was just beautiful. So if you've been to Funk House in Berlin before, you know what I'm talking about.
Funkhaus it's an amazing former East German recording / absolutely amazing space. Stanley, I know you know it as a musician. I mean, people like Aphex Twin have played there. I mean, just amazing, amazing things happen there. So it's a very special venue for sure. I didn't know it occurred there, but that's
Tech
that's
Open Air used to be there as well, right? And that's when I remember when Tech Open Air used to be good.
Oh, the good old days.
Back before crypto existed and we were all into tech, I remember doing that a couple of. So the dates for Web3 Summit will be July 16th to 18th, and that will be running throughout. So yeah, I want about 250 builders. Cool.
All right, amazing, very cool. But yeah, until then, we've got plenty going on, of course, with BuildStation from the 5th of May to the 16th of May, and as Stanley so astutely mentioned, the deadline is a deadline, but they're also looking
the 16th for us in Europe, right? And then it goes into the 17th overall if you're in USA, if I'm correct.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I do think the 16th comes to my mind. Midnight, Berlin time.
Don't look to us for specific facts at this moment, but yeah, I've also, I think maybe one of the things that came to mind comes to mind is that they are looking for people who continue building beyond the quote unquote end of the BuildStation, end of the Coliseum deadline. So, and there will not be a demo day on site at the end of our sprint. It will come during Berlin Blockchain Week, as far as I understand. So anybody that might be in Berlin during this time period, yep, rock and roll hands. I know Tomoka is going to rock the demo day.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Are you going to be giving any
You've
mentoring
also got to come to our blog stage.
yeah. Any workshops, Tomokas? You've given several workshops. I've seen
I mean,
Tomokas, by the way, amazing.
I wrote the Super Team Germany guys. I was like, guys, I'm full of knowledge on the AI image generations, on the vibe coding, on everything. Come, I can share all the knowledge. And they're like, are you willing to pay for your speaking slot, a sponsorship for this? I'm like, bro, I should be the one getting paid, not me paying to speak on a stage. If I come pay to speak on a stage, the only thing I can say is that, hey, buy my shit, because I just paid for the speaking slot. So I don't understand paying to speak. I think it's a complete nonsense. And if you guys change your policies, then come get me. I'm very cheap.
Is this for blockchain week or is this?
Yes, but blockchain week.
Okay.
We're going to do free to Thomas. We're going to do a petition.
The blog space will welcome you. Free Thomas, that's releasing from jail, from speaking jail.
Yeah, we can do a rival mentoring session, or maybe we take you, Thomas, somewhere else in Berlin, and we go and do a proper session and advertise.
Hell yeah, let's do another blockchain week parallel. Actually, cool week, Berlin cool week.
Yeah.
All right, it's in the ticker now. It's in the banner. Free Tomokas.
Yeah, I'm sure we could use some local bar and take it over what's got a big projector, right?
I have. I've booked Club for 5 days. It's all mine, 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. every night. So reach out to me. Let's do something cool.
Very good.
Amazing.
Guys, I'm very sorry. Guys, I'm sorry, but I have to dip. I have another call. It was a very cool Creators Guild. Thank you very much for inviting me, but I really must go. I'm getting messages that I'm late.
Tomokas,
bye-bye. It was
thank
a
you
pleasure.
so much,
really
sir, and I'll see you soon.
All right.
We'll see you soon, man. See you
Yes,
soon.
bye-bye.
Thank you so much. All right, so we're gonna take care of Tomokas. Bring him back.
Break him out of jail. Break out of jail. Solana breakout.
Out of jail. Yeah. And Zoe, you reminded us that Blockspady will be open for 5 days during Berlin Blockchain Week.
Yeah, I'm currently
the famous
hidden crypto mini mart. So you walk in and you can buy some crypto merch, and then it enters into a rave. So it's pretty cool. We do branded club mate, beers, and all that stuff. I think it's the most creative production we've ever done, and we love doing it. So happy to see you there as well. I'll also be attending the Solana stuff as well. I think it's at the beginning of the week. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what are the dates for that one again? I need to check my diary.
Yeah.
I'm not
gonna put it. I'm totally frozen. I'm frozen in the weirdest. Every time I just totally weird.
It's better.
That's
hours needed.
There we go. That's a nice one. That's real. Oh god, yeah, so flattering. As Tomokas reminded me, there is Island DAO action. Keep an eye on that because those folks are amazing. They're super supportive. They've got some NFTs going on sale that are going to be sort of membership NFTs that are going to be coming out around the time of Crossroads, which is this weekend. I probably won't make it. I went to Athens DAO. I've got a lot going on here in Berlin, unfortunately, but I know that Bloody's going to make it. He won a VIP ticket. I'm very happy for him, but also a little bit jealous.
Wow,
I don't know
that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Flights, or is it just a hotel experience, or what does VIP mean?
I think he just won the VIP ticket, but still, it's pretty.
Sounds super fancy.
Yeah, pretty good deal. So very happy for him. Any of our people that can make it there and show up and connect with everybody. It's great. So I don't know if either of you are planning on going, but I don't think I'll make it. I'm kind of sad about that. But there's a ton of stuff going on here. Obviously, we've got co-working on Fridays. We've often been seeing our creatives there, we will. Yes, I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank because I only have 30 seconds left, and I'm once again so honored to have both of you, obviously Tomukas also, both of you as guests on Creators Guild. You're always welcome back. You're always welcome to, pitch any ideas, as are any of our creators or anyone who wants to hear more about any specific subject. Every 2 weeks, we spend an hour covering one theme that usually finds its way into many other themes. And I hope that everybody walks away with kind of like a better basic understanding of what we're dealing with. But thank you once again so much for sharing all your knowledge and experience with our community, and honored to have you. Thank you so much. Frozen again, yeah. But I will see both of you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was super fun.
Yeah. And also, if you've got anything that we should be aware of, even right now, anything that is you're just burning to tell us about, please let us know before we go today. Otherwise, please feel free to spam us.
Yeah, I'm supporting PopCat for life. My only meme coin, and which I'm following and supporting, because he or she needs help. So I need to get my money back.
Uh-oh. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, what's the ticker for that? Is it another Solana coin? PopCat.
PopCat, yeah.
Sounds suspicious. I don't think Paul meant to shill your shitcoins in the last 30 seconds, but we did.
It's okay. Why not? Because we can.
Oh my God.
I did kind of open it up.
I think go to jail. Thomas Free will get in jail. Oh God.
Fantastic.
Zoe, do you have any?
The other thing I would want to say is, go on.
Yeah.
I was just going to say then, a big shout out to Jenny as well, Martini, because she brought her dog Blue, and he's now my CEO of my German operation. And there's a lot more creative marketing coming.
Jenny has
we need more
dog in the entire Solana hackathon, so we need more dogs.
Very true.
More animal CEOs, yeah, for sure. If nothing else. Well, I do want to quickly remind people that everybody that Product Guild, which is just right down in Munich, Product Guild is coming up at 1900. I highly recommend Product Guild. They are super sharp. It's full of amazing speakers, amazing advice. So yeah, if you can wander back to the Super Team socials and check out Product Guild at 1900 tonight, or it's recorded. You don't have to catch it live, but it's always nice. Highly recommended. So yeah, have a look. And that's all we got for Creators Guild. Best of luck, break a leg for everybody that's working on a project for Breakout. And we'll see you around. If not IRL, then on the internet.
See you at the Gold Station. Yeah.
See you at the Gold Station.
Play on R.
All right.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Zoe.
Ciao.
All right, see you later. Ciao, ciao. Tschüss. Macht's gut.